My name is Jamie Copes. I am a tutor training and digital literacy project manager for Wisconsin Literacy. And every month I do a series called Digital Tools for Teaching. So this month, I just wanted to introduce a tool to you if you're not familiar, called USA Learns. You should be seeing my screen now. So it says Digital Tools for Teaching, ELL, USA Learns. Let me know if you cannot see that for any reason. Okay, we will get started. We are a pretty small group, so if you have questions or comments at any point, I invite you to just unmute and interrupt me, or you can put them in the chat. And from time to time, I'll pause too to ask if there are questions. So a quick agenda for the hour that we're together today, and it may not even take an hour, but I do want to give you some time to explore. So first, I want to just tell you a little bit about this tool, USA Learns, what it is, what are some of the features that I find kind of exciting about it, and then give you some time to explore so that together as a group, we can kind of answer, how does it work? How could we use it? And what might be some potential barriers when we introduce it to students that we'd like to anticipate and maybe help each other overcome. So to get started, USA Learns is an online site where adults can learn English. It was specifically designed for adult learners by Sacramento County Office of Education in California. To use it, you do have to register. So you are required to enter an email and a password. And there are two different ways to register. You can register as a student. And this is helpful because it helps track your progress. So the next time you hop on the site, it will put where you left off. You can also register as a teacher. When you register as a teacher, to my knowledge and from my experience, I don't believe that you can actually access the courses themselves. But what you can do is you can create a class and you can assign learners to your class, and that way you can keep track of learners' progress and see where they are and the scores that they receive. Another nice feature about USA Learns is that it is smartphone compatible. So sometimes you go to an online site on a smartphone and the view is just not fun, but it is compatible. So if your learners are using a phone, it will format to that. Currently, USA Learns offers 7 different English courses. So I'm going to give you a view of that right now. So here is my student account. You can see that from the tab up here. It says student homepage. So when you log in as a student, you are offered all of their courses, but if you're currently in the progress of one of them, it will show you that one first. So you can see I've also joined a test class because I have a teacher account as well. So the teacher account is Wisconsin Literacy. It says that I'm in that class. And the class is based on this course that USA Learn offers called Access America. Access America is a course for people to learn about living in the United States, so newcomers. It does teach English, but it teaches a lot of culture as well, and digital literacy too. Then you can see they have first English course, second English course, a third English course that's called Practice English and Reading, a US citizenship course, and then English 1 Plus. And finally, I believe that this is a trend that they are headed down as they update and add more and more courses. They will offer more career-based courses, but right now they just have skills for the nursing assistant. So this is the view for a student. I will quickly show you the teacher view as well. So this is my teacher homepage. You can see that I have a class here that I called a test. I have one student, and to invite other students, I would have to give them this key. So 515E9E1C. If I click on that, it doesn't open up the roster. It gives me some options. So I can see the class roster. I can send a message to my class. I can see student activity by class. I can share that class key. So it offers me an option to just project that key larger so that if I'm with a student in person, they can see it and enter it into their computer. I can also email that key to students. And then I can edit class details. If you're curious about what it looks like to set up a new class, I'll show you what that looks like. So if I were going to start a new class, I would have to give it a title. And I have to assign it one course that USA Learns offers. So this to me could be a potential, maybe not a barrier, but when I think about if I had several students and I might want them working on all different things, I think you have to create a different class for each of the courses that USA Learns. So I could base it on maybe the USA citizenship class, put in a quick description, and then I create my class. I need a description. And now I have this new class with a new key that I can share with students. I'll pause there for any comments or questions right now. You can unmute or put them in the chat. Okay, another feature that USA Learns offers is some introductory videos. I think these are a nice way or a nice thing to send to students so that they have an understanding of exactly how the site works. I thought it would be useful to show you all this particular video, how to study the English courses, because it's going to give you a little peek into the course and what the student sees as they navigate it. I am sharing my sound. I'm going to turn it up to make sure you all hear, but you may have to turn up your volume on your end as well. If there are any problems, please let me know.
Welcome to the USA Learns website. In this video, I'll show you how to successfully complete the English courses in USA Learns. You'll learn how to use the menu pages, how to move from one activity to the next, and how to read your scores. After you register and select the English course you want to study, you'll go to the course's first menu page. What should you select first? It's always a good idea to start at the beginning. In this example, you would click on Unit 1. On the next menu page, you should select the first English lesson. In this example, you'd select the link that reads Introduction and Vocabulary. On this page, you are almost ready to start your first activity. Just select the first activity link to start learning English. In this example, you would select the word Welcome. Here is an example of a USA Learns activity page. The first thing you should do is to read and follow the instructions. You should select the Listen button to hear the teacher talking. You should also read the words on the page. And when you're done, select the Next button to go to the next activity. At the end of each lesson, you'll see a page that shows your score and asks what you want to do next. If you received a score of 80% or higher, continue to the next activity, or you can do it again for more practice. If your score was less than 79%, you should do the activity again to improve your English. If you want to select a different lesson, unit, topic, or English course, select the menu link located in the top right corner of the page. Depending on the page, the link will say Lesson Menu, Unit Menu, Topic, or Course Menu. In this example, the Lesson Menu link will open the lesson list. Now, let's look at how the scoring works on USA Learns. On the Unit, Topic, Lesson, and Activity menu pages, there will be a column named Completed and a column for your score. These columns tell you which activities you have started or completed and your scores. You will see boxes, lines, dots, and scores. What do the boxes in the completed column mean? A solid square in this column means that you've completed this activity. A half square means that you started this activity, but you did not complete it. If the square is empty, that means you've not yet started this activity. What does the score column mean? A line in the score column means that this activity will never be scored, such as a reading activity. A dot in this column means that this activity will be scored after you complete it. A number in the score column means you completed this activity, and the number you see here is your percent score. What if you want a better score? You're welcome to repeat an activity as many times as you want. Studying the English courses many times is an excellent way to get more practice and improve your English skills. We hope that this video has given you some helpful information about USA Learns. If you're ready to start learning English now, please visit the USA Learns homepage at usalearns.org and click the Start Now button.
Seen some questions in the chat. Some of our students know very little English before starting a course like this. Are these videos available in other languages such as Spanish? They won't be able to understand this video. Really good point, Karen. Thank you for that question. And I do know from the website that there's an opportunity to switch languages for the whole website. I haven't found that super helpful though. Let me see if I can show you. So I can toggle here between English and Spanish. When I click on Spanish, oops, brought me to the teacher page. Doesn't like that I'm in it twice. Let's see if I can get back to my student. So, okay, so now you can see I am on Spanish, and the only thing that has changed when I click to Spanish is that this button is now in Spanish. So that I think is a barrier that you've recognized and something that we'll need to take into consideration as we think about sharing this with students. I have not found those videos in Spanish. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. I just maybe need to look around a little bit more. Thank you for the question, though. I do want to offer you all an opportunity to explore this site so that together we can kind of brainstorm, who is this useful for? How do you see yourselves implementing it? And like Karen just pointed out, what are some barriers that we would need to consider before we introduce this to students? Before we do that, I just want to see how you want to use the time. I want to give us about 10 minutes to explore, but there are different things that we can do. So I'm going to launch a poll right now. It should come up on your screen and it just says, what do you want to do next? So in the next 10 minutes, would it be a good use of your time to try and register for a student account and explore the lesson activities? I will let you know that when you register, you do have to then open up your email account and confirm the email before that you can log back in. So that is a little time consuming, but might be worth it. Do you want to watch me explore the course activities so that you can kind of get a view, but you don't necessarily have to do it yourself? Or would you like to see an overview of course curriculum and teacher resources? We have 7 out of 10 of us who have answered the poll. I'll just give about 30 more seconds. Okay. So I do see that there are people who want to do all 3 types of activities. So here's what I'll do. I will put the link for the teacher resources, which you can access without creating an account. So I will put the link for that in the chat. If that's something you want to explore at this time, please go ahead and do that. If you would like to create your own account and hop around and kind of see what it looks like as a student, please do that. It's 11:19 right now, so at about 11:30, we'll come back as a whole group and kind of try to answer these questions. How might you use USA Learns? And what are potential barriers to using it? If you wanted to watch me explore, and you can kind of vote in the chat for me, please. Which course would you like me to jump into? And I'll sign in again so that you can see those courses. So we have Access America, First English, Second English, Practice English and Reading, the Citizenship course, English 1+, or Skills for the Nursing Assistant. So if you want to watch me explore, please put in the chat which course you'd like me to jump into. All right, I have 1 vote for the First English course. Margot's okay with any, First English, and then Citizenship, and then maybe Nursing. Okay, so if you are exploring on your own, just remember at 11:30, we'll all get back together to talk again. Vote for first course. So let me show you that. I'm going to start over. It looks like I've already started this. So here's the First English course. So you can see here the menu. First English class in the classroom. And then here are those boxes and score columns that the video was talking about. I'll start with First English class. In that unit, we have intro and vocabulary, language practice, review, and quiz.
Hello, welcome to the First Course English class. This is Sylvie Marquez. Ms. Marquez is your English teacher. Have fun with Ms. Marquez and the other students in the English class. Click Next to continue. In this unit, you will learn classroom directions. You will learn the letters of the alphabet. You will learn how to introduce yourself. You will learn how to write your name on a form. This is Miguel Morales. Miguel works at a cafe. He is from Mexico. Miguel speaks a little English.
Excuse me, can I have more water, please? Oh, and how about some coffee and some of Lucy's pumpkin pie?
Ryan is Miguel's boss. Ryan says, "Please learn more English." Miguel is at the adult school. He is in English class. He is learning new English words. Click Next to learn new English words. Ask. Listen. Point. Read. Say. Spell. Type. Watch. Write.
All right, I'll show you what it looks like to get it wrong first. Okay, so it looks like I've got 9 questions to match vocabulary. I wonder if I can jump to show you. Any votes for where anything you'd like to see next in this unit or a different unit from the first English course? Maybe we could look at this. So this looks like it's a video. I think we just did this meaning match. Let's see if we can look at the listening match.
Listen. Say. Ask. Point.
Okay, so that's what listening activity looks like. Say it. Practice listening and speaking, press listen. I have to allow it to use my microphone.
Listen.
Speak and say the word or phrase in your microphone. Listen.
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 Point.
Yes, Sharon, you have identified a potential barrier, I think. Sharon asked in the chat, are there ads at the bottom of all the lessons? Because it is a free resource, there are ads. One thing I can do is click the X, but I still see a box there. Let's see. Should I go to a different course, or is there anything else? Go back to the whole curriculum for the first English course. I think since we don't have a ton of time, I'll see if I can go back to a different course. And we had asked for citizenship next. This is the menu for citizenship, steps to becoming a US citizen, and 400 civics, reading and writing practice, and your interview in new citizenship. Any votes what I start with, or do you just want me to start with number 1? Thank you. Start with 1. Become a US citizen. So again, you can see we have the welcome with a video, learning goals, a watch and learn with the check your understanding, learning keywords again. Ooh, and this is different too. That looks like there's a self-assessment, a learning log for citizenship.
USCIS. USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. The Naturalization. Naturalization is the process of becoming a citizen.
So here I get an ad when I clicked it. I have to actually click close now. Okay, so that's a 4-minute video. I will stop the exploration there. If anybody was exploring on their own instead of watching my screen, I invite you to come back now. And hopefully it's clear to you, I don't work for USA Learns, right? I work for Wisconsin Literacy, and my job is just to help you become aware of some online resources, particularly free resources that we can use with our learners. So first, we'll just talk about how you think you could use this resource, and then we will talk about maybe some of those potential barriers that we'd want to anticipate before introducing it to learners. Go ahead and unmute if you have some ideas. I also turned on annotation tools because I'm going to have us, I'll just write or take notes right on this slide, but if you're familiar with Zoom annotation tools, you can also type something on the slide. What ideas do you have?
I have 2 ideas. Just from what I saw there are a number of lessons that align with the Intercambio curriculum. So I could see this being used as an additional resource or as homework. But for introductory students, it would need a massive amount of teacher support. I just don't see independent or introductory students being able to use this independently.
Thank you. Other ideas of how you could use it? Anna, go ahead.
I would like to respond to that. So when I've explored USA Learns in the past, the idea I had was for programs to, one moment. The idea I had was for tutors not to set up a teacher account, but set up a student account for those tutors who are working one-on-one, that is, and to sit with your learner as you work through the program together. And so I think that that's one way that you could use it, especially with learners who might struggle with the digital skills and the English skills that they would need to navigate through the program. So it could be a really nice tool to use together.
Thanks, Anna. Other ideas? Okay, appreciate that. I came up with some ideas. Whoops, let's turn off this. And we hit a lot of them. So if you wanted to use USA Learns as your core curriculum, this is just what we use with English learners. It is a full curriculum of 7 different courses with a scope and sequence. Supplemental curriculum, we already came up with that idea, right? So mentioning that it aligns with some of those intercambio lessons, using it when it's appropriate as extra practice or homework. This is an idea we didn't mention, but if you have students on a waiting list who are waiting to be placed in a class or with a tutor, and you can't currently meet that need, it might be a nice way to get students started learning something on their own before they are placed. And then because it's online, it works both, like Anna was mentioning, for in-person learning, if you're sitting down with a student and you're doing it side by side, but you can also use it for remote instruction as well. So potential barriers, we mentioned that it is fairly heavy on English already. It expects English learners to know a lot of English even just to get started. So that's something you'd want to anticipate. Like Anna said, one way to support that would be sitting side by side and walking them through it. What else? The ads. We mentioned ads. So you would have to probably teach a student where to look for the main content and how not to get distracted by ads. Is there anything else that you see that could be a potential challenge that you'd want to anticipate before using it with learners?
Well, for the ads, another thing we can do is show students how to, if they're using a web browser, install a free ad blocker. And it's pretty easy to do. So then they wouldn't have to worry about that for any website.
Thanks, Alec. Challenges that you may have identified in your exploration.
Well, for our clients, we are the Refugee Resettlement Agency, so we would like our students to be able to have digital literacy skills, but at this point, our organization, we don't have any means of, giving them access to computers. So in our classroom, it would be difficult, although eventually we will have a computer lab available. But right now, yeah, it would be a little hard to use it for our curriculum, at least like other than just going through it in class together kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so, access to devices is one barrier perhaps, but also just those digital literacy skills. So if this is something that you can see yourself using, try to keep these things in mind so that you can anticipate teaching your student how to maybe troubleshoot for these. So the ads we mentioned, just the remembering of the password, that's with any site that requires a login, but that is a great basic digital skill to be teaching students. It requires some basic literacy. If you were watching me explore, you do have to read some instructions, right? And then be able to click on buttons, identify buttons that say listen or next. And then here's just a list of digital skills that I noticed were required. So some website navigation might require some pre-teaching, clicking on with a mouse, typing, and then button recognition, like I said. So listen, the next, back, and play. So that is all I have for you today about USA Learns. If you were not familiar with it, at least you have another tool in your back pocket now. I always like, when I'm looking at one curriculum, perhaps like Intercambio, like was mentioned before, to see how are other curricula doing this lesson, and are there any other tools or activities that I can use from this other resource to help supplement. So that is definitely a way I envisioned using USA Learns. Like I said, this is a monthly training series on digital tools for teaching. I'm focusing for the next few months on specifically tools for teaching ELL. So our next month in January, we'll meet again on January 25th, and I will share with you the Staying Healthy collection. Staying Healthy is a health literacy series put out by the Florida Literacy Coalition. But then a group from, I'm forgetting the organization right now, but there was an ed tech makerspace. So a group of teachers gathered together around this resource of staying healthy, and they created supplemental vocabulary and comprehension activities. So the Staying Healthy is the health literacy curriculum. The Staying Healthy collection is an online source of all of the texts that come from that curriculum, plus supplemental vocabulary and comprehension activities designed by teachers. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, I invite you to register for that. Again, it's January 25th. You can register on our tutor training page by going directly to our website or by using this QR code. I will also follow up with an email today, and you will receive a handout that I've created for USA Learns, kind of summarizes what we talked about today and gives you some links to resources. And then I will provide you a link to register for this training as well.